Hare Krishna. Expansion of consciousness opens the self to the self. Suppose we are watching a movie and so caught in watching the movie that we became oblivious to everything else. Over time, when we decided to shift our awareness elsewhere, we would see the other things. We would still be aware of the movie, but our consciousness would expand to see the movie, to be aware of the movie as well as the things apart from the movie. At present, we are all caught at the material level of reality. Our consciousness is caught as if shrunk at the material level. We are spiritual beings, but we have forgotten our essential spiritual identity. We become oblivious to it. Now, when we want to move from the real world to the real world, all we need to do is just shift our awareness. But when we want to become aware of spiritual reality, our consciousness is caught at the material level by the fantasy that we will be able to enjoy at the material level. And this fantasy prevents us from seeing higher spiritual reality. So we need to counter this fantasy. And the best way to counter it is by spiritual education and experience. The Bhagavad Gita states that Yatro paramate chittam niruddham yoga sevaya yatra chaivatmanatmanam pashyannatmani tushyati. It says that by the practice of yoga, the consciousness stops moving materially and starts moving spiritually. At that time, we perceive the self. Pashyan atmani tushyati. The consciousness opens, the self opens to see the self by the expansion of consciousness. But at present, the self is close to the self because of the attachment to matter, because of the fantasy that matter will give us pleasure. And the way to go beyond this fantasy is again by purification. So, when we get spiritual education, at that time we understand both the temporality of material reality and the eternality of spiritual reality. We understand that because of the temporality of material reality, no matter what we achieve here, no matter what pleasure is how glamorized, it's going to be temporary and it's ultimately pointless. Whereas the spiritual reality is eternal and it's eternally all attractive. We understand not only our own spiritual identity as souls, but we also understand the all attractive supreme spiritual reality, Krishna. And further, we also recognize by the experience that Bhakti Yoga provides that the spiritual fulfillment coming from Bhakti is far greater than any any pleasure we might get in anything material. And thus, by the education and experience coming from spirituality, we realize our self fully. The self becomes open to the self fully. Fully means we realize not just our souls, but we also realize the self of ourself, Krishna, the supreme whole of whom we are eternal parts. Thank you. Hare Krishna.